Another clever man right now joining BYU Sports Nation for the second time and first time since last year, the head coach of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, Rick Stockstill. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
We are fantastic. We appreciate you taking some time during your busy week. We want to know more about the Blue Raiders, and we'll start with this. What is the strength of your team? You're 5-3 thus far. You've had some success. What is the strength that's helping you find that success?
Well, I think the big thing is we're playing as a team. You can't look at it and say the offense is carrying us or the defense is doing it or special teams. I think we're really playing, as a team, and it's, we've had some high-scoring games where we won, and we had some lower-scoring games where we won. So I guess to answer your question, just, we're playing really well as a team.
What does it mean to have BYU go to Murfreesboro?
I think it's, since I've been here, we've had, Mississippi State and Maryland and Georgia Tech, Minnesota, Virginia. We've had some, big schools come here, but I think with BYU, it is the most storied program coming that's ever been here. The tradition, the history of BYU, to me, is far greater than those other schools that have been here. So I know our fans, our community is really excited that a BYU would, one, even consider coming here to play, and then the fact that they are coming here, people are really excited, because we only get to see, or they only get to see BYU when they're on TV. So I think this is a unique opportunity, for our fans and people around here to, like I said, to see one of the more storied football programs in the history of college football.
I believe yesterday you mentioned something to the fans. Hey, let's not get outnumbered by BYU fans. What kind of reception have you had from fans reacting to that to make sure you pack the house?
Well, I say kind of tongue-in-cheek because, I know, there's a lot of BYU fans, on the East Coast, and it's hard for them to, to get out all the way to Provo. So I know there's a group coming out of Atlanta that's like 5,000 people, so I'm sure there's other parts of the, the East where, they can look at, hey, this is a 3, 4, 5 hour drive. I can go see my team. So and I don't know how many tickets, you got BYU sold. I've heard, in the 10,000 range. But what I was saying was just, because we don't get a whole bunch of people. We're, probably in the 18,000, to 20,000, what we're averaging. And, and just it's something that I battle every game, every year, trying to get more and more people to come to our games. So I said it kind of tongue-in-cheek to let's make it hard for the BYU fans to get a ticket, for Saturday afternoon.
Raise those prices. Make them pay to get in the stadium.
That's a good idea. I hope we're doing that.
BYU fans are used to that, actually.
And
that's a real thing.
That way I don't have to keep playing all these games.
Coach Rick Stockstill, the head man of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders on BYU Sports Nation, was a quarterback at Florida State from 1977 to 82. Coach, let's stay on the topic of quarterbacks. You lost Logan Kilgore, who is now, I believe, with the New Orleans Saints, and you've had a big vacancy to fill. How has the quarterback position performed for you this year, trying to replace Logan Kilgore?
Yeah, Logan was a 3-year starter for us. He started against you guys last year. He signed as a free agent with the Saints, and then he got released there at the end of camp, and he's now with the in Canada.
Okay.
He's playing up there. So Austin Grammer, who's our starter now, he came in probably the fourth quarter of our game last year. And to be completely honest, he has exceeded my expectations. I think he's done a good job, especially here of late, the last couple games. Earlier in the year, it was, He protected the ball. The next game, Minnesota, he threw 3 interceptions. The next game he didn't have any turnovers. The next game he had 2. So he was a little inconsistent early in the year. He's playing more consistent now, especially from a ball security standpoint. And to me, a quarterback, that's where it always starts. So we're a little bit different offensively than last year because of, he gives us, a threat as a runner, where Logan last year, we didn't have that threat, from the quarterback position being a runner. So Grant Austin's done a nice job, through 8 games this year of running our offense.
The real question is, how's the backup Brent Stockstill?
I love everything about him. His mother is a pain in the rear end. No, but Brent's doing well. He's our backup. He's a true freshman, and I think he's got a great future ahead of him.
Rick Stockstill, the head coach of Middle Tennessee football on BYU Sports Nation. Another game changer that we talked about last year a lot was Jordan Parker. He's back. Is he the staple of your offense with the new quarterback in Austin Grammer?
All 4 of our backs, and really you go back to last year, our top 5 backs, we had one senior, and that was William Pratcher, and he broke his ankle in your game last year, and we lost him for the year. But all our 4 backs, other 4 backs, all had major surgeries after the season, and none of them went through spring practice. 2 of them did not get cleared until game week of the first game for full contact. So and then Jordan, missed last week with an injury. So I've really, all 4 of them have played a bunch. I've tried to, and this has been, difficult for me. It's been a kind of a learning experience for me too, that I've tried to manage, their carries, throughout the first part of the season here because, they're all coming off surgeries, and I didn't want to, overload one. And so we've been pretty balanced, with our carries. Jordan had a big game at Old Dominion. He had he's had a couple other big games, but I like our running backs. I think all 4 of them have been very productive this year.
What do you see out of BYU, given that BYU won the first 4, injuries, have lost the last 4?
I have so much respect, and I'm probably not saying his name right, Taysom Hill, but
you said it correctly, Taysom.
Yeah, just watching him last year on film and then competing against him live. I've said this many times since that game that he's the best quarterback I've ever, played against at any place I've ever coached, and I'm just assuming I'm saying this without any knowledge, but I'm sure he was the heartbeat of that team. He was the leader of that team, not just offensively, but you could see. I saw when he got hurt. We were, that Friday night game at the hotel, and just how the whole team reacted to, his injury. And any time you lose your heartbeat, so to speak, it takes time. And, I think Stewart, he's getting better. I know he's losing some games, but I think he's thrown in a tough position. And, you think about, though, the games they've lost, and I'm looking at it from an outsider looking in, but you lost him in the game when Taysom got hurt. That's hard in the middle of a game to replace your quarterback. And then you lose to UCF on the road in overtime, and UCF was a BCS Bowl guy last year. You ran into a buzzsaw at Boise State, last week. And I think Boise is Boise of old, a few years ago. Really good team. You lose to them on the road, and then you probably let one get away with Nevada, where you're leading 28-13 at the half, I think it was. So, yep. It's the games you've lost or they've lost have, not making excuses for them because nobody wants to hear that. But as an outsider looking in, that's a tough. They've had a tough road to hoe a little bit these last 4 weeks also.
BYU now a 4-point favorite according to the experts, and so given that they've lost 4 in a row and you're home and the success that you've enjoyed this season in Conference USA, what kind of a game do you expect in terms of physicality? Or do you expect a lot of running, a lot of passing, or high scoring? What are you expecting on Saturday?
Well, to me it looks like, we just had an open date last week. We went 8 straight games without an open date.
Oh.
And then we played, BYU, then we've got another open date. And people have asked me, you're going to play one game in 27 days, something like that. And, I said as much as we needed the open date this past week because of going 8 straight weeks and then 3 weeks in August, we're probably going to need this open date more after the BYU game than we did before it, just because how physical BYU is. And, you guys are going to be a heck of a lot bigger than us. You saw that last year. It was a physical game last year. We were, we had a bunch of bumps and bruises last year after that game. So I expect a physical game. As a coach, you can only prepare what you see, but it looks like, BYU might be passing the ball a little bit more with Stewart in there than they were with, Taysom, and just it looked like to me, when you had your quarterback, they were, a lot more quarterback runs. There were more runs and almost run to set up the pass. And now it looks like, they're throwing so much more, to set up the run. And they may come in here with a completely different mindset and think they're just going to, line up and hammer it down our throats and run the ball. But I just know it'll be a physical game. I hope it's not a high-scoring game, because that means if it's not, then your defense is playing pretty well. So, I just know it's going to be a physical game, and it's going to come down to, who protects the ball the best. Usually that is the biggest, difference maker in games. So I'm just expecting a physical game.
Coach, great to have you for the insight. To look forward to the game on Saturday. I am making my first trip to Murfreesboro. I fly into Nashville on Halloween night, and then we'll drive over. I need to eat dinner somewhere. Where is the place to eat dinner in Murfreesboro?
I'm kind of a, mom and pop type place guy, just old school stuff. But you need to go, to me, I would recommend Slick Pig Barbecue. It's close to campus. It's right off campus. It's got great, barbecue, great wings. They'll have TVs in there that you can watch who's ever playing Friday night, if you desire to do that. But Slick Pig Barbecue is one of my favorites.
Fantastic. I appreciate the insight there as well. I'll check it out. Coach, look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Good. I appreciate you guys. And if you need anything else, holler at me during the week.